Well, cool. Todd, I think the best place to start, man, is just, if anybody is watching this at home, just kind of to give a brief introduction about who you are, what you do, and what your role in the company is.
Sure. My name is Todd Luthane, and uh, own a company called Coex3D. And Coex3D is a first and foremost, we're a manufacturer of 3D printing filaments. People who know 3D printing know exactly what that means. People who don't know 3D printing, the way I put it in simplest terms, is every 3D printer needs a material to print with, much like your inkjet printer that you have in your home or office. If you don't have an ink cartridge in it, you might as well not have a printer.
Hmm.
What we manufacture are 3D printing filaments that would be the equivalent of putting an ink cartridge in your inkjet printer. It's a plastic material, comes on a spool, and um, we make lots of different types, but 3D printing is becoming more and more popular all the time, more and more affordable. And we see everything from home hobbyists to schools to, of course, commercial customers that buy our materials. So we have everything from entry level that would be more prone to the hobbyists buying those up through engineering grade materials. And we have customers that we need to reach of all different types. So that's what we do, and that's who I am.
Great. Well, thanks for the introduction, man. You brought up an interesting point about reaching all different types of customers. So, I guess the way I want to segue into this next question is where was your business at before us from a marketing perspective?
You know what? We've bounced around a little bit and tried several different things. I'm gonna I'm gonna answer that question, but I'm gonna flavor it a little bit and give you a little bit of history of the company and how we got to here. Coex3D had existed making 3D filaments since about 2016. I got involved with the business in 2020. Um, but at that time, I did not own the business. The business was owned by a group of companies that I had actually worked for those folks in a different business for about 20 years or so. And it was right at the beginning of COVID. They felt that they needed to make a change with the business, and they asked me if I would manage the business for them, which I accepted. Um, but it was an interesting thing because I really didn't know anything about 3D printing, and it wasn't a passion of mine. It was, but I immediately fell in love with the craft of 3D printing, the business that we were in, and just had some differences of strategy with the previous owners where um, I felt like we wanted to do more creating an e-commerce platform. I felt like we wanted to do more with social media advertising and outreach and finding new customers through whatever channels were available to us. And as you know, all of those things take time and they take money and they take resources to be able to do that. And I just was never able to get the previous owners to make those types of investments in the business. Um, Ultimately, I ended up buying the business from them in July of 2022. And then since then, we have really been playing around with lots of different things, whether it be email marketing, social media, mostly via free posts, a little bit with paid advertising. Um, Launched a new website, went with a Shopify platform. We were on WooCommerce previously. So really, since July of 2022 is the only time frame that I have to go off of where we've been able to do the things that we wanted to do as a business. Um, so I touched on it a little bit, but we had tried doing the digital marketing 100% ourselves for a time. We had worked with a couple of different agencies. When doing it ourselves, we didn't feel we were getting the impact. Um, and we've just toyed with a number of different things, whether it be, social media, primarily Facebook, Instagram, a little bit on Twitter, very, very little bit on TikTok, and there's lots of areas that we want to continue to explore. We know that we can expand our reach and our brand awareness, but um, that's really our biggest challenge right now is getting our brand well known, and we're working hard at that.
Cool. Yeah, 100%. We're definitely working hard on that. And I think again, perfect segue, man. You mentioned something that you worked with a few vendors, you worked with a few teams, maybe even agencies before. And I remember on our first initial call that you didn't really have the best experience with them. And so my question is, what happened there, and then what made you go with us?
You know what really happened in watching the data, and we had given them 6 months worth of money and time to have them, and the other agency was working with us on uh, SEO optimization. They were working with us on Google Ads, and we were doing everything our own on our social media platforms. I know that SEO is kind of the long game, but after 6 months, we had really seen a flat line. We had not seen any increases, and that was very frustrating. Um, the thing that was most notable that I think you're referring to on our initial call was it was about October, and we were talking internally how we're not seeing success, and then went and were able to see in the back end of our website that agency that we were working on, specifically on uh, the SEO and Google Ads portion of it, had not logged into our website since like June 19th. And here it
Jeez.
was October. So we were paying them uh, $1,500 a month, actually in excess of that, and they hadn't even been on our website. So we would have follow up calls with it. We'd have status report calls, just kind of assuming that they're doing, and shame on us that we didn't look at it or monitor it more. But that's when it became immediately apparent that, hey, you know what? There's a reason we're seeing flatline. We hadn't gone down, but we hadn't gone up. But why are we giving them that all that money? It didn't make any sense. And it was about that time that you guys had reached out to us, and the timing really was perfect. And you know uh, we talked quite a bit internally, and then with us and your team, and there was just a natural comfort level when we started talking with you guys.
Well, cool. Thanks for saying that, man. And yeah, again, I'm sorry, man, for them to have not logged in for months.
Yeah,
That
literally months.
that can't feel good. That can't feel good.
No.
So so far, I know that we've been working together for a couple months now. How do you like us? How do you like the guys? What's been kind of your overall experience working with us? I guess communication wise, and then just results wise, the most important.
Yeah, so let's touch on that first. I mean, the results have been there. We started working with Carbon Box right around Black Friday, um, and we decided to work with Carbon Box on two levels. One being the Facebook paid, um, so social media, but specific to Facebook and Instagram paid campaigns. We are doing our own in terms of the free posts. Um, and then we're also working with you guys on Google ad spend and the placement of that. We are doing all of the SEO work on our website on our own now, and that's working out fine. Um, the results have been fantastic. I mean, it's been a relatively short amount of time. Obviously, Black Friday, everyone expects it to be great. We did have a great year. Whether or not I can attribute that to, the promotions that we ran or Carbon Box, I'm going to put it as a combination of both of those. But we have definitely seen um, more traffic to our website. We've gotten a lot of first time customers that are coming, which is really huge for any business, but it's especially huge and exciting for us because what we manufacture and what we sell is a consumable item. If somebody's into 3D printing, they don't buy a spool of filament one time and then never come back to us. They buy our product, consume our product through making stuff, and then they come back to us again and again. So our lifetime value of a customer tends to get pretty big, even though our average order size might only be $125 to $150. But generally speaking, people will reorder about every 60 days or so. Um, so getting that new customer is where we have struggled. We have been our product and our customer service and our quick shipping that keeps our customers coming back. We just need more of them, and that's where we reached out to you guys to say that's our most important thing that we want to do is get new customers. And the number of new customers that we've had in the short time that we've been working with you has to be attributed to the work that you're doing, both in the Google ad, the ad placement, the way the search engines work, and then getting the right audiences reached through paid social media. Um, we struggled with that. I personally struggled with that greatly. Of how do I place an ad with Facebook and know that I'm getting to the right people, the right buyers, the right genre, the right category, whatever it is, and with relatively speaking, short number of phone calls, you guys just seemed to get it. You understood what our customer base, who our audience was, who our potential audience was that we're probably missing out on right now. And now our ads are getting seen and viewed by those folks.
Yeah, 100%. And just for some context, with our meta ads or our Facebook, Instagram ads, 95% of our targeting is broad. So we are focusing pretty much majority of our spend in net new customers, right? We want to acquire net new customers at a profitable rate. And I think Black Friday, we ended it with a 14x return on ad spend. And now that Black Friday is over and, we're halfway into December, we're at around a 10x. And so the goal is just to continue to scale in 20% increments so we can scale profitably and not break the system. So we're really stoked about that. And Todd, my last question for you, man, is to anybody watching at home, in their car, at the gym, whatever, what would you say to them if they're thinking about working with us? They're thinking about dipping their toes in marketing. Maybe they're working with a poor agency and they just don't trust agencies anymore. What would you say to somebody who's considering using our services but just hasn't pulled the trigger yet?
I guess I want to speak to people that are in a similar boat as I was, where you've got a business, established business is what we were. We had an e-commerce platform that was very, very functional, is very functional, but we believe it's in its infancy. And I'm a 54-year-old guy. I am a college graduate with a marketing degree. And I say my age because I think that there's a lot of people that fall into the same boat that I am, where when I went to school for marketing, the internet barely existed. Um, Smartphones did not exist. Social media did not exist. Many websites or many companies didn't have a website. Many companies weren't even using email. So everything that I learned about marketing truly doesn't exist anymore. Everything about marketing now is digital media, digital content, the way the search engines work, the way Google crawls things and looks at different things, and SEO, and every alphabet soup that's out there as far as what's going on in the world of marketing. Um, it's really, really difficult for somebody like myself to comprehend and say that I'm doing a good job with that. And I don't want to go back to school. I don't want to have to relearn everything. So I can understand and I can share with guys like you who I want to reach. You know how to do it. I don't know how to do it. So I know what I want to do. I know the people that we want, and I know that we make great product. How do I reach them? So what I would say to people is, if you're like me and you've got a passion for what you do and you want your business to be successful, and you feel like I know I'm missing something and I just don't know what to do, talk to people who know what they're doing. There's a reason that we make filament and you do the marketing. We're good at the making of filament. We're not so good at the marketing side of things. And I think oftentimes knowing what your strengths are and more importantly, what your weaknesses are helps shed a light on that. Because we could have kept doing the same thing over and over again and having, slow itsy bitsy growth. I think we can do better. I know we can do better, and I think that we're on the right path for that, and I'm excited about that. So that'd be my biggest message: is just if the world of digital marketing seems complex, it is, and I don't have time to learn all that.
We love it. We love it. So we'll handle that for you, Todd. Todd, I appreciate you, man. Thank you for being here. And yeah, again, thanks for doing this, and we'll talk to you soon.
Sounds great.